At 2:47 a.m., Ethan learned the most dangerous kind of betrayal isn't the one you do with your body. It's the one you do with your silence. The bedroom was dark except for the faint glow of his phone, one tiny screen lighting up a decision that would stain everything after it. A single sentence sat there, sent and undeniable, like a fingerprint at a crime scene. "I can't stop thinking about you." Beside him, Clara slept with the peaceful certainty of someone who still believed her marriage was safe. Her breathing was slow, steady, innocent, and that innocence did comfort Ethan anymore. It sliced him open, because every breath she took was proof of what he didn't deserve. He turned the phone face down, as if hiding the screen could hide the truth. But guilt doesn't live in notifications. It lives in your pulse. He slipped out of bed and padded into the kitchen, barefoot on cold tile. The fridge light snapped on, bleaching his face into something older, heavier, like the man in the glass wasn't him but the consequence of him. Then the phone vibrated again. A reply from Lena. "Me too, can't wait to see you again." Ethan's chest tightened, and what terrified him most wasn't the fear. It was how alive he felt. The rain was falling softly against the window when Ethan sat at the edge of the bed, staring at the faint glow of his phone. It was 2:47 a.m. The message he never should have sent still sat on the screen, shining like a sin that refused to fade. "I can't stop thinking about you." Clara was asleep beside him, her breathing steady and untroubled. She looked peaceful, safe in a reality Ethan had already started to poison. The sound of her breaths used to soothe him. Tonight it cut through him like glass. He turned his phone face down on the mattress, as if that could erase what he'd done. Outside, the city slept. Inside, his life was rotting quietly. Ethan walked into the kitchen barefoot. The tiles were cold enough to wake him fully. He opened the fridge and the pale blue light spilled across his face, turning him into someone he barely recognized. His reflection in the window looked older, heavier, contaminated. There was something in his eyes he didn't want to meet, hunger that didn't belong to his wife. He whispered, trying to make it true, "It was just a message. It doesn't mean anything." But betrayal always starts small. The phone buzzed again. A new message appeared. "Me too, can't wait to see you again, Lena." Ethan's chest tightened, and he hated the part of himself that felt more alive the moment he read it. Lena worked with him. She was younger and reckless, with a laugh that filled the office like music. At first it was harmless, a joke, a look held a second too long, a compliment that landed too deep. Then Clara got sick last winter. Hospital lights, long nights, machines beeping. Exhaustion that hollowed Ethan out until he felt like a man walking through fog. He came home drained, terrified, starving for something, anything that didn't feel like fear. Lena stepped into that silence. She didn't ask for the whole story. She didn't demand strength. She just made him feel wanted when he felt helpless. He remembered the first time he crossed the line. A business trip, cheap hotel lighting, the smell of rain clinging to Lena's skin. He told himself he was lonely. Lena told him she understood. That night became a border. Everything before it was his old life. Everything after it belonged to a man who could lie to the woman he married and still look her in the eyes. Months later, every smile Clara gave him carried a sting. She poured coffee at breakfast and talked about their daughter's school play, and Ethan nodded like a devoted husband, while something inside him screamed. Sometimes he wanted to confess, to tear the truth out of his chest and beg for forgiveness. But fear spoke louder. What if she leaves? What if she never looks at you the same again? So Ethan did what cowards do best. He smiled, he lied. He lived two lives, one in daylight, one in darkness. And every secret demands payment. His bill was coming due. It began with small changes. Clara stopped kissing him goodbye in the morning. At dinner, her silence lasted longer than it used to. In the car, her hand stayed in her lap instead of finding his. One night, she looked at him with tired eyes and asked softly, "Are you happy, Ethan?" The question landed like a blade. He froze. The right answer should have come easily. "Yes, of course." But the words wouldn't rise. Instead he said, "I'm just tired." Clara nodded, but her expression didn't soften. She didn't believe him. After that, she pulled away in invisible ways, not dramatic, not loud. Quiet. A woman doesn't always need proof to feel a shift. She feels it in the air, in the pauses, in the way a man stops being present. That night, Ethan stood in the shower for almost an hour, letting the water burn his skin as if heat could scrub guilt clean. It couldn't. Guilt doesn't wash off. It stains. A week later, Clara found the first clue. A photo. A selfie from a work retreat months ago, Ethan and Lena standing too close. Lena's hand resting lightly on his arm, the kind of touch that speaks without words. Clara stared at it for a long time. She tried to tell herself it was nothing. She tried to protect the version of her life where Ethan was still safe. But doubt is a seed that grows fast. When Ethan came home that night, Clara was quiet. Dinner sat on the table untouched. He kissed her cheek. He felt her flinch. Everything okay? He asked. Clara smiled, a fragile, terrifying smile. Everything's fine. Ethan should have known then. When a woman says fine like that, she isn't reassuring you. She's preparing herself. 2 nights later was Clara's birthday. She invited a few close friends, made her favorite lasagna, lit candles around the dining room. The house smelled like garlic and nostalgia. Ethan brought flowers and tried too hard to be normal. Too attentive, too gentle, too eager. Under the warmth, tension hummed like an exposed wire. Halfway through dinner, Clara's phone buzzed. She glanced down, expecting a friend. Instead, she saw an unknown number. She opened the message, and her heart stopped. A screenshot. Ethan and Lena in bed. His arm around her, Lena smiling. The photo had no caption. It didn't need one. Clara looked up. Ethan was laughing with her best friend, oblivious. Clara's chest tightened so hard she could barely breathe. Every laugh Ethan gave that night turned sour in her ears. Every word sounded poisoned. When the guests finally left, Clara didn't confront him. She walked to the bedroom, shut the door, and cried into the pillow until her throat burned raw. Downstairs, Ethan poured himself a drink, trying to quiet the unease rising inside him. He didn't know what had happened, but he could feel it. Something had shifted. Something irreversible. The next morning, the sun crawled into the room like an uninvited guest. Clara was awake. Lying motionless beside him, eyes open and red, she hadn't slept. Every time she closed her eyes, the image returned, fresh as a wound. Ethan rolled over, groggy, offering a small smile. Morning, birthday girls. Clara didn't respond. She got up, walked into the bathroom and locked the door. The click of the lock sounded like a shot fired in a quiet room. In the mirror, Clara looked older than she had the day before, not from time. From truth. How long has he been lying? How long have I been loving a stranger? When she came out, Ethan saw the stiffness in her shoulders, the absence of warmth. Clara, what's wrong? Nothing, she said, I just didn't sleep well. Ethan's stomach turned. He recognized that tone. He had heard it in his mother's voice years ago, when she discovered his father's affair. That calmness sharp enough to cut. He wanted to ask, he wanted to confess before it got worse. But cowards always wait too long. Later that afternoon, while Ethan was in the shower, Clara picked up his phone. Her hands trembled as she typed the passcode. The same passcode since their wedding day. It opened it. His messages with Lena were gone, deleted. Every single one. But an empty space is still a shape. And absence can be proof. Clara checked the photos. Nothing. Then she opened the recently deleted folder. And her blood turned cold. Dozens of messages. Last night was perfect. I miss your hands. When can I see you again? And at the bottom, a voice note. She pressed play. Lena's voice filled the room, soft and intimate. I wish you could just tell her the truth, Ethan. I hate hiding. Clara dropped the phone. It hit the tile with a sharp crack that echoed like thunder. The room tilted. The kitchen blurred. She sank to the floor, clutching her chest, gasping for air. There is no undo button for betrayal. When Ethan came downstairs later, Clara's eyes were dry. The storm had already passed. What remained was worse. Stillness. She handed him the phone. "You should be more careful," she said coldly. Ethan frowned. "What are you talking about?" "Next time," Clara said, voice steady as ice, "delete the recently deleted folder too." Then she walked away. That night the house was quiet. Too quiet. Ethan sat in the living room staring at the blank TV, his own reflection faint in the dark glass. He felt like a ghost inside his own home. Clara spoke without looking at him. "How long?" Ethan didn't answer. "How long, Ethan?" she repeated, sharper now. His mouth opened, but shame kept the words stuck. Because saying it out loud would make it real. 8 months, he finally whispered. Clara let out a laugh that wasn't humor. It was disbelief bleeding into pain. 8 months, she said, voice trembling. "While I was in the hospital, while I was recovering, you were with her." Ethan reached for her instinctively. Clara stepped back like his touch was poison. "Clara, I made a mistake." "No," she snapped. "A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is saying something cruel. What you did was a choice, over and over." Tears rose in his eyes. Hers stayed dry. "Do you love her?" Clara asked. Ethan hesitated. Half a second. That was enough. Clara turned away. "I don't even know who you are anymore." And Ethan finally understood real fear. Not fear of losing her. Fear of realizing he had already lost her a long time ago. The next morning she was gone. Her clothes, her jewelry, her perfume bottles. Gone. Only the faint scent of lavender remained, mixed with the ghost of everything he ruined. On the kitchen table sat a letter. "You took something from me I can never get back, trust. You looked me in the eye every day and lied, and I believed you. I hope she was worth it. I hope the nights you spent with her were enough to fill the silence you left in me. Don't call, don't text, don't come looking. You've already found what you were searching for. Clara." Ethan read it until the ink blurred through tears. He called her. No answer. He texted her. Nothing. That night he drank until he couldn't stand, staring at the empty couch where she used to curl up, at the faint dent her head left on the pillow. He thought about driving to Lena's place.
If this story hits you, you can support the channel with a quick hype.
The idea made him sick. And that's when he understood. He didn't love Lena. He just hated himself less when he was with her. Weeks passed. The apartment became a grave. Every sound was too loud, every silence too heavy. He stopped shaving, stopped eating, stopped meeting his own eyes in the mirror. At work he tried to pretend, smiles for clients, polite conversations, but the office whispered her name in every corridor. Every time his phone buzzed, his heart jumped. Hoping it was Clara. It never was. Lena reached out a few times. He ignored her. Eventually, she stopped. He was alone with his guilt and the echo of a life he burned to ash. One night, he drove past Clara's new apartment. Lights glowed inside. Through the window, he saw her silhouette, laughing, talking to someone. A man. Ethan didn't know who he was. It didn't matter. He sat in his car for an hour, tears running silently, watching a life that no longer belonged to him. That was the moment he finally understood. Some losses don't break you in one hit. They hollow you out slowly, until there's nothing left but the echo of what you destroyed. Silence became Ethan's new roommate. It waited for him in the mornings, sat across from him during empty breakfasts, followed him to bed like a shadow that refused to let go. He left the TV on just to fill the emptiness, but even those voices sounded fake, distant. He tried to write Clara an email once. It started with "I'm sorry" and ended there. He deleted it. No sentence could rebuild what he had burned. Friends stopped calling. His mother texted, he didn't answer. He was disappearing in plain sight. One rainy afternoon, he found an old box in the closet. Wedding photos, vacation snapshots, their first apartment, the way Clara used to look at him like he was her entire world. He held a photo from their honeymoon in Rome. Clara in a red dress, hair caught by the wind, laughing. He pressed the picture to his forehead and whispered, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." But apologies don't resurrect the dead. Weeks later, he began writing again. Not emails, real paper. A letter. Clara, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve to be heard. But every day without you feels like a punishment I earned. I thought I was escaping loneliness. All I did was build a prison out of lies. You were my only truth. He sealed it and never mailed it. It sat on the counter for days like a question he was too afraid to answer. Then fate decided to be cruel. Ethan was leaving a grocery store when he saw her across the street. Clara. She looked different, stronger, calmer. The softness was gone, replaced by the quiet strength of someone who survived something that should have destroyed her. She was holding hands with a man. Ethan's body went still. His heart stopped and started again in the wrong rhythm. Clara saw him. Their eyes met for less than a second. In that second, Ethan didn't see hatred. He didn't even see anger. He saw something worse. Peace. Not peace with him. Peace without him. Clara offered a polite smile when you give a stranger you used to know. Then she turned away. Ethan stood in the rain, groceries in his hands, and felt the full weight of what he'd lost. Not just Clara. The version of himself that only existed when she loved him. That night, he opened the envelope again and reread the letter. Then he recorded a message he would never send. He pressed record and spoke into the darkness. Clara, I became the thing I swore I'd never be. I watched my father destroy my mother with the same lies I used on you. I promised myself I'd be better. I failed you, I failed us. He paused, breathing unevenly. If I could go back, I wouldn't choose to meet you again, because I'd never want to see you hurt the way I hurt you. You deserved someone who protected your heart, not someone who broke it. When he finished, he deleted the recording. Because even regret felt selfish when it came too late. Ethan couldn't escape the house. Every room held her shape. The couch where she used to sit, the kitchen where she brewed coffee, the windowsill where she placed fresh flowers. He tried candles, cleaning, new routines. Nothing erased the past. He stared at his phone for weeks, waiting for one text. Nothing. When it rang, it was never her. One night he looked in the mirror and truly saw himself. A hollow man with eyes dulled by consequences. Lena called once more. "Do you miss me?" she asked. Ethan realized he didn't. What he missed was the life he didn't deserve anymore. He hung up and let the silence swallow him whole. He remembered everything, the messages, the lies, the screenshot, the birthday dinner, the letter. He had traded warmth for lust, trust for thrill, and now he had exactly what betrayal always leaves behind. A quiet house, a loud conscience, and a lifetime of knowing that some mistakes don't end. They haunt.
If you've ever felt this kind of pain, don't walk through it alone. Hit subscribe and stay with us. More real stories are coming.